Hey, hi, hello, hello. We have now chapter 300 of Boku no Hero Academia. Urban areas descended into panic. Society had barely begun to process the destruction of 2 days prior, and the small army of vicious escaped villains only exacerbated this unprecedented crisis. The existence of the Nomu was the final nail in the coffin. Me? I like just how weird and creepy and innocent they look. But it's true. Like, of course, we, the readers, have known about Nomu since way back, like chapter 50 or something. Much, much earlier arcs. I think it was the training camp arc, right? That the Nomu were first. No, it was even earlier. What am I saying? There was a Nomu that fought All Might in, like, the very first arc in Universal Studios Japan. Right? Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah. So yeah, the Nomu in the reader's mind have been around forever. We've become very accustomed to them, even though the concept that we've become accustomed to is quite creepy. But yeah, for the public to learn about these as a threat, that there's this army of like quirk humans, these unthinking puppets that are so hyper powerful. That's pretty terrifying. That's a whole different type of threat than anything they'd understand before. So Hawks had played an endeavor. Rumors of Nomu sighting had been spreading national-wide. The concept of uncanny, not quite human entities have been gnawing away at society's collective consciousness ever since the first attack on UA. As the rumors grew more pervasive, so did people's anxieties and fears. That frustration had built up over time until the levees burst. At first I thought it was going to be an image of the glass overflowing. Their anxieties are overflowing. But no, instead it just explodes. Which is, I guess, a lot more apt. That people are freaking out. People are not okay with the idea of Nomus as a threat. And it looks like this isn't just an analogy, but this is actually a depiction of some charming little cozy cafe that is now exploding. You can see some books flying, a potted plant flying. It's Cider House. See volume 23. Bakugo said, "Get a job, loser, and beat these guys easily." Fantastic. I want to just check what message I got. Ooh. Wow. Alright. Okay. Somebody's gonna ship me some candy. Anyways, so a hero? Perhaps, yeah, civilian rushes in. Not even a hero. The civilian is fighting back with a support item made by, I'm pretty sure, Reed Destro's company. Gonna stand up and protect our city. A whole bunch of civilians running in. It's the washing machine hero. I love this guy. The seeds were already sown, with the people in Faith in the Heroes shaken. Okay. So his plan is proceeding just as he wanted, Redestro. Even though he probably did not factor having the crap beaten out of him into it. This idea of civilians eager to arm themselves, eager to use their quirks on their own without the system of heroes. So I wonder, like, how much are they going to condemn this in the writing? How much is the message going to be, no, it was better when we put our faith in heroes? And how much of this is actually going to be kind of like a needed societal change? Because so far the message seems to be like, hey, the civilians are kind of taking care of it, and the heroes sure aren't. Oh, but these were civilians, untrained in counter-villain ops, suddenly engaging in armed combat. The battles were rarely contained and often incurred excessive damage and casualties. Yeah. Okay, so this is where they're starting to reinforce the benefits of professional heroes. I kind of thought it would be going more in that direction, because what kind of ending is like, and now I, Midoriya, have become the strongest hero. And guess what? Everybody hates heroes. I'm the only one left who even calls himself a hero. Ooh. They chuck a frying pan at him. Jeez. Too little, too late. Well, Wash, where were you? The ranks of heroes began to thin. This is pretty interesting. They'd always been hinting that this was a direction the series could go. Like, people's perception of heroes radically changing and a big societal shift to just how people operate with regards to threats, with regards to villains. As far back as, like, Stain, Stain making his anti-hero proclamations, said, this is kind of like a cultural decadence to rely on heroes, to have faith on heroes. And now we're really getting into the grit of it, What is really happening? Ooh. The number 9 hero, this guy. Oh, we never even got to see him in action. I was so curious about this guy. And now he's just done. Including an older one who had plenty of savings up from his days as a young hero, but had continued to serve regardless. Yes, Yoroi Musha, the number 9 hero, announced his abrupt retirement. Falling on his own sword. Yeah, not really. Just walking away from your sword. He looks like he was like a samurai type hero. Dang, that would have been cool. I wanted to see that. He was top 10 level power. Yeah, people pissed off, throwing everything at him during a press conference nonetheless. People throwing, it looks like their camera at him? Bro, that's expensive. You need that. Throwing a tape recorder in their notebook. This was the trigger that convinced numerous heroes to abandon their careers. Many had eagerly signed up for the cause when a peaceful society was the baseline assumption, but now, for better or worse, the meaning of the word hero is being put to the test. And someone has, in this most sacred place where All Might defeated All for One in battle, someone hung up a sign. I am not here. I am not here. I have not arrived. Oh, this is interesting. I really like when series start teasing apart the world building they've done up until that point, right? Like, start exposing kind of some fault lines that they had built in to say, oh, none of this was actually stable to begin with. Things could radically change. For better or worse, those heroes were being put through a sieve. This weirdo unsheathing a rusty blade. Going, yes. Doesn't look like a good sword. I really like this broken down shop. People were placing that responsibility on the shoulders of one man in particular. Like, this is like days later, I think. He's out of hospital, he's conscious, and there's still a huge crowd of people demanding to see him, demanding a press conference, demanding something. I love this doctor, by the way. His like mushroom style hair, just kind of looking like a weird Toad from Mario. Fantastic. Your son and the others are mostly out of the woods, and even you managed to pull through, Endeavor. I'm rooting for you. Okay. So these are like the first glimpses of his consciousness. It's not like he's been sitting there for a while going like, oh God. But this is going to be him piecing together what is happening in the aftermath. Suddenly he thinks of Dabby, a terrifying shot of Dabby. Let's tango a dance with your son here in hell. He must have known that I'd survive this because he knows exactly what sort of man I am. Oh wow, it's really snowing now. Yeah, the revelation that Best Jeanist was actually alive, I thought would put a pretty big damper on everything Dabby was saying. But I guess people still want to know. And the fact that it's like almost like a controversy, that it's going to stay in the news cycle until they can confirm it one way or another, is almost worse, right? Instead of it just being like, oh, geez, he's the father of that villain? That's messed up. All right. And then like a week later, you're like, why were we mad at Endeavor again? Something about his son? Isn't his son in high school? The ice guy? Yeah. All right. Endeavor doesn't have an empathetic bone in his body. He's addicted to the limelight. It's All true. I'm just reaping everything I've sowed. I might get to live on, but Endeavor died back there. My son's a mass murderer, yet I can't fight him. Oh! 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 Ah! It's an oddly comedic moment to have. And the fact that Todoroki almost calls him dad. Just for a second. Up and you're all here together. And there she is. There's Mom. The Hellish Todoroki Family. Part 2. Those regrets and guilt. The rest of us have borne that burden much more than you have. I'm here to talk about our family and our son, Toya. Okay, cool to see the mom out of the hospital, speaking so directly. Clearly she's recovered from a lot. She's really returned to full lucid consciousness very intensely. So the family drama continues. The Hellish Todoroki Family Part 2. That was the first instance of the title in that chapter, which is kind of interesting. So, I don't know. What more can be said at this point? Endeavor knows he's really screwed up. It's pretty impressive, I think, that they, shonen series often will have these bad familial conflicts, a bad father, some sort of betrayal, abandonment, disappointment. And usually the apology process is very one and done. There's one arc where the father makes some sacrifice for the son or whatever. I can see now that you do love me. All right. It's very clean, tied up with a bow. But here we kind of already had that moment a couple times. And I think Todoroki and the rest of the family's willingness to say, no, you hurt us a lot more than that. And then also surprise, here's another son that you hurt even more badly than that, is pretty impressive. And I think it's kind of a good message that you don't just forgive and forget, but the trauma runs really deep, and that it's like a superhuman effort to make that sort of forgiveness, to come to some sort of reconciliation. And I'm really curious how they're going to get into this. Maybe there'll be more of a complete flashback too. We're gonna really learn the gaps of the Dabi story, which could, because he knows Hawks' real name, he knew Hawks before Hawks was a hero, have some hints at the Hawks story too, which has also been kind of set up. And Hawks said Endeavor is in danger. I don't know, it must all be connected. We will see in chapter 301. Bye-bye for now.